All right, friends, welcome back to the architecture track. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, depending on your time zone. I am delighted to get to introduce our next two speakers. We have my good friend Josh Long joining us from the West Coast and Julien Dubois joining us from lovely Paris, France. I have been watching the Tour de France of late, and it just reminds me of how beautiful France is and how much I miss the fact that I didn't, in fact, get to go there this year thanks to COVID. I will remind you all to join the discussion online in Slack and to join us in the Q&A room afterwards. But I know how long Josh can go, haha. So I will go ahead and pitch it over to them to tell us all about running boot apps on Azure. Gentlemen, take it away.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. So welcome to Bootiful Azure Spring Cloud. So I'm Julien Dubois. So good evening, because it's the evening in France. I work for Microsoft, where I manage the Java developer advocacy team. I'm more well known in the Java community as the creator of the Jeepster project and as a Java champion. And you can follow me on Twitter at Julien Dubois.
I'm Josh Long. I work on the Spring team, Java champion, Google GDE, author of 6 books, including a book that I just all of like an hour ago released, which is Reactive Spring. Do you have that slide or that browser?
Yes. Oh, sorry. It was a browser. Yes.
There
you can go to reactivespring.io.
To get your copy now, it's available on LeanPub already, and it'll be on Amazon Kindle very soon, and you can get a print edition very soon as well. So stay tuned. But the book is done, and I look forward to people's feedback. And I work in the open source stuff. Good to see you, my friend Julien. How are you?
Yeah, fine. Good to see you again, Josh. I'm always very happy to be with you for demos and live coding, because it always goes awesomely well with you. We never fail.
Yeah, well.
Maybe today. No, we can't fail because we're going to use Azure Spring Cloud.
Of course.
So what we're going to do today, so because it's 2020, we're going to build an application that sends weather alerts. So when there's a fire, when there's a hurricane, you can alert people. Each will be built. Oh.
Here in the United States, we have an organization called FEMA. It's a Federal Emergency Management Agency, I think. And they just recently published a list of all the natural disasters and incidents and all that stuff. And they do this report, and they show every year how many natural disasters there are. Every year, it's like 1,000 or 2,000 in the United States, right? This year, there were more than 8,000 things that qualified. So 2020 has been amazing. We need this app. We need this app.
It's time we build it. So we've got 25 minutes, but we will be using Spring Boot, so awesome for development. Right. We will deploy it in a production-grade environment, Azure Spring Cloud. We will secure it with OAuth2, and we will send asynchronous messages, because we want to scale and send it to as many people as possible.
And hopefully everybody saw some of this Azure Spring Cloud goodness. They learned about it in the opening keynote yesterday, right? There
was a keynote yesterday, and like 1 hour ago, there was already a session on it, which was fully on Azure Spring Cloud. And we're going to code with it. But basically, you're not going to see that much, because it just works. You will see that we deploy to production, and we're in production, and it works extremely well.
Very boring.
Oh. So that's the goal. It's a pass. It's
right.
Not Kubernetes. You're not
drama.
Yeah, you're not building Docker images, sending them to the registry, and so on. You send it to the pass, and it works.
Yep.
So let's get started, and let's get coding.
Yeah. So we're going to code the application. We should go, of course, to.
Yes. Oh, well, the best place on earth.
Yep. Second best place after production.
Oh, yeah. Best place on earth is start.spring.io, of course.
No, that's production.
Yeah.
Second best is start.spring.io.
Yes.
I love start.spring.io. Oh, yeah. Okay.
So let's build our app. So, of course, we want let's say, a Java app. What's interesting is the dependencies we're going to add. So what are we going to do? So we're going to do a web app. So web. Yep. We're going to use we're going to use Timelift, because I've got a little HTML page to show. We're going to use a security. So I want a Spring security, and I want OAuth2, because that's a sorry, wrong button. And I want OAuth2, because I want something modern. Do we use the dev tools or not? Is that a good thing for you?
Nah, we don't need it. We have so few changes.
Okay. Okay. And last thing we can add, of course, we should add is Azure. So it's Azure support. What we call Azure support here is basically our Spring Boot starters. So what we will see is that we provide, well, the Java team at Microsoft, we provide you Spring Boot starters that you can use anywhere inside Azure, including Azure Spring Cloud, but not only Azure Spring Cloud. And those starters are going to help you deploy use Azure services more efficiently while using the usual Spring Boot configuration mechanism. So let me just download this and open it up. And here is my, oh, it's opening the wrong window. Here it is. So here is my project. Woohoo!
Nice. So let's look at the dependencies, can we?
Yes. Oh, so of course, it's a Maven project. So let's have a look here. So we're using Java 11. Oh, and we've got this, which might...
The Spring Boot bomb for Azure, right?
Yes. So we've got a bomb and we've got a Spring Boot starter here for Azure. So this uses the latest JDK from Azure. And
right.
I know SDK, sorry, from Azure. And I know you love it because it's based on Spring Reactor.
Mm-hmm. So all those dependencies are building on top of Reactor now, right?
Yeah. Well, it's more interesting for some dependencies than some others. For example, if you want to upload a blob, of course, using reactive is extremely useful. It's less useful when you connect to Active Directory,
right.
probably. But yeah, we've got customers who are using it very extensively, and for them, using reactive instead of having a blocking API is a game changer, of course.
Now, from what I understand, is that even the APIs that have a blocking facade, behind them, the implementation is still based on Reactor. So there's been a reworking for a lot of the dependencies, not all of them yet, but a lot of them that's based on the use of Reactor. And you can tell which ones have the new Reactor support by the new namespace, right? The new coordinate group ID.
Yes, it's com.microsoft.azure, which is also quite a logical group ID. And so there's a lot of work to make this happen. And what's great for Spring developers is that it gives you Flux and monos exactly like when you use Spring Webflux. So it's automatically working with Spring Webflux without you doing anything because it's using the same libraries underneath.
I love reactive. That's really cool. Okay. Yeah. So what do we do? So we're going to connect to an application, right?
Yes. So let me start it. So Spring Boot run, and let's have a look at the app. At the moment, well, not much should happen, of course. If I go to the app, we've got it running here. I'm a local host. It's secured by default, but this is secured using the default mechanism with Spring Security. So we don't have OAuth 2, we don't have anything. So let's first configure security because, well, like every app, we want security.
So what are we going to use for security?
So what I'm going to use is Active Directory. So Active Directory looks old and ugly. Let me just add a dependency here. So as you can see,
so Active Directory is a authorization service, right? An authentication service. I can do authentication. I can ask questions about who has what roles. And most organizations that I've ever worked at or been in have Active Directory, right? It's very, very popular.
Yes.
But for me, it's one of those things I didn't want to do. When you suggested we should add Active Directory, I was a little scared because I was like, I don't want to deploy Active Directory.
Yeah.
No, it's easy.
Yeah. First things that today we're not here to do easy stuff. Otherwise, we would just upload the blob. We're doing, real production stuff. Secondly, it's very easy today for two reasons. First of all, it's Azure Active Directory, so it's in the cloud. So basically, we've got two versions. We've got a B2B version for companies and a B2C version, which federates identities from third-party or two providers. So we're using here Azure Active Directory, and we're using here our starter, which is going to auto-configure everything. So I just added this jar file, and now I'm going to my application.properties file. Oh, by the way, I'm not using YAML because you told me you didn't like YAML, but I still like it better. I'm sorry about that. There's one good thing about properties file is, I don't want to show my secrets to everybody here. So as it's very long, you can't see what's on the right. So you can't see my secrets. So what's happening here is I'm configuring three things. I'm configuring my tenant, so that's the name of the node I'm using. And then I'm giving it a client ID and client secrets. That's basically my username and my password to connect to Active Directory. That's all I do, not doing anything else.
Now, of course, normally you would keep that outside of the application as environment variables, right? This is just for the demo.
Yes, or on Azure Spring Cloud, you can use Key Vault. You know, we've got a security service well, we've got lots of options which are far more secure than this. It's only for the demo, of course.
Okay.
So I've started my app, and if I load my app instead of having this, now what's happening? I've got a web page here that I configure, and this is Azure. Yeah, I didn't do anything. This Azure is already here, and if I click, whoa, I'm already connected. You see on MicrosoftOnline.com.
Right.
And well, yeah, I'm going to use, in fact, my own. You know, it's my Gmail account. It's my own account, because if I'm using the Microsoft account, everybody is going to say, "Oh, you're doing a trick. You're having something specific at Microsoft, and it works for you." Here, I'm doing like anybody else. It's a Gmail account, like anybody. So it's my Microsoft account. And when I click, I've got an error page, which is awesome because it's a 404 error page, so which means, in fact, that it's working. I went through authentication. I tried to collect, and I've got a 404. So we've got Active Directory set up, and our app is secured, which is awesome because it only took 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So second thing we want to do, of course, is get rid of that page, which is ugly, of course. So yeah, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to copy an existing page that I got.
HTML. So you don't want to spend 20 minutes just typing up HTML on screen?
Exactly. I don't want. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to. And honestly, I didn't even write it. I just copy pasted it from somewhere else and improved it a little bit. So that's my HTML page. I can open it up in a browser because that's done with Timeleaf.
Right.
And Timeleaf. Oh, sorry. By the way, there's a little thing I need to add. You can see that Timeleaf is using Spring Security to show stuff. So here, if security doesn't work, I'm going to have Bob, which is written, and if security works, I'm going to have something else. So, and I didn't put my name anywhere, so we'll see if that works. So to have this working, I just need to add in my POM.
Timeleaf security dependency.
Yeah, Timeleaf security dependency. Otherwise, Timeleaf doesn't understand Spring Security, which is bad. I'm going to refresh Maven, and oh, well, I just reboot my app. It's going to be faster. And now, instead of having a 404 page, I should have my web page, and it should know who I am. So it should say that I'm Julien Dubois.
Voila.
And voila. Oh, it's here. Oh, I'm here. I didn't code my name, of course. It's coming straight from Active Directory. It's displayed here, and I'm secured, and everything works. So that's a nice first step. Next thing that we want to do. Oh, sorry.
It looks secure. I think there's only one thing to do with this now, which is go to production. You've got a web page. You've got security. It's seems good.
It's time to talk about Azure Spring Cloud. So Azure Spring Cloud, let me just go to my Azure Portal. So here's the Azure Portal. I've got different services running, including Azure Spring Cloud.
So this is a service instance of Azure Spring Cloud running on Microsoft Azure, right?
Yes.
So I can go there and create a new one, or I can create multiple.
Oh, yes, you can create as many as you want, as long as you've got money, of course.
Of course, yeah.
And well, we've got lots of options. We don't have time to discuss all of them, like networking, config server, alerting, monitoring, lots of things. What's interesting for us now is apps. So here I've got an app which should be here and which is empty at the moment. And I'm going to deploy my app. So let me just change the index file. Sorry, template to say that we are in production, because otherwise people will not believe it's true. Weather alert in production, because otherwise we're just going to show the same thing.
Right.
And so I've got different ways to go to production. I'm going to use the command line, just because it's fun.
You're going to use the Azure command line CLI, right? Now, when people download that, does it already have the Spring Cloud command enabled?
Yeah. I think it is now. I've got a little doubt because now we are GA since yesterday. So normally we have removed it, and it should be included in the Azure command line automatically.
But if you're trying it out right now, you might have to go download the separate Azure Spring Cloud dependency. I don't think so, but just in case.
Yeah, it should be there very soon. And here what I'm doing is that, so I'm doing Maven package, skip test to go faster.
Right.
And of course, always. And then I'm deploying my app to my Spring Cloud instance. Here, so let me just click, because it's going to take like a couple of minutes, so we can talk during that moment. Here I'm sending it my jar file. So I'm compiling on my laptop and deploying I'm doing that because it's faster to do it that way. There's another way to do it. I'm just deploying my source code. I don't build locally. I deploy my source code, and Azure Spring Cloud builds it for me. So we're using the build pack, like in Tanzu, like everywhere else, and so it's going to package my app inside Azure Spring Cloud, and probably you will have a much more optimized packaging like that. So it should be better. It's also easier because you just send the source file. Here I'm doing it differently because it's a little bit faster, and we only have 25 minutes. But yeah, it's up to you basically.
So you can send a jar directly, or you can use like Azure pipelines or Tanzu build service or something as an on-ramp into the platform. Okay, either way, this command is what you would use, Azure Spring Cloud.
I would deploy it like that, and then by the way, I can check if it's working. We've got plugins for all the big IDEs, so including IntelliJ Air. And if I go here to Spring Cloud, I can have a look at what's happening. So it already found my cluster, it found my app, and I can say, oh, give me the logs. So I can better understand what's happening, if it's deploying correctly or not. And we can see it's been deployed in 8 seconds. So I can go to production. Let me just click on the app. It's here, and it's still secured, but now it's secured in production. So I still need to log in, and here I am. I am in production on Spring Weather. Azure Microservices.io. So it's running in production. That's cool.
That's awesome. Now we have some time. Can we do one more thing?
Yeah. Well, we first of all we need to code. Yeah. Because
it's like JMS.
Yes. So what we're going to do is add a GMS Spring Boot starter for. So it's an Azure service which is called Service Bus, which is very popular for people using Azure. So that's what we use to send messages across Azure. So it works with lots of different technologies and stuff than Java. But since very recently we've got a GMS API support on it, so you can use it to send GMS messages, which is awesome because as a Java developer, as a Spring developer, I love the GMS template from Spring, and I would like to use it. I can code what I've always been doing, but now I'm in production with something which is far better and far more secured and robust than, I don't know, an ActiveMQ server that I would install myself. So let me just, as time is running, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to copy paste 2 files here.
Okay.
So I've got my controller, and so what my controller is doing, it's basically going to do 2 things. I've got one method to read messages and one method to publish messages, and both of them use the GMS template. So if you have a look at my code, you see I'm injecting the GMS template here in the constructor, and I'm just using it with receive and convert and convert and sound like any old Spring developer would do.
Indeed, this application looks like something we could have written 10 years ago, right? Spring MVC, JMS, etc. And you mentioned the Azure Service Bus. That is a global world-scale service bus that you can use from AMQP, which is very easy. You can use it from its native API. You can use the Spring Cloud Stream binder for that if you want, or you can use JMS. And it works for multiple platforms, multiple languages. An amazing piece of technology.
Yeah. Well, what people need to understand with this demo is we're going to production on Azure Spring Cloud, Active Directory, and Service Bus. So we've got 3 very complicated and secured and distributed services. And we're going to use all of them in like 25 minutes without no pen at all and using our existing knowledge of Spring.
Right.
I just have one thing to add. Oh, I already saw my secrets.
Oh,
well. Matter. I will destroy it afterwards. Doesn't matter. Okay. Hang on. I'm going to hide this one. I just forgot to add. I need to add a secret for Service Bus. So to configure Service Bus, I just need one jar file, a Spring Boot configuration, auto configuration file, and one token basically to connect. And once I've that, I just need to go back to production. So I'm going to go very fast. I just typed up on my command. I'm deploying again, and it's going to replace my app with this new app, which this time this app has got a backend, and it's going to be able to send and receive messages. As it's going to take like 2 minutes to deploy.
This is amazing. Again, this is what I love about this is that we've now just taken advantage of one of the biggest, most powerful message queues on the planet, right? Which is Service Bus.
Yeah,
and
here it is.
the code is not more complicated than just using ActiveMQ or something like that. Actually, it's almost nothing, right?
Yeah. Or in fact, in development, I would probably use ActiveMQ because it's it runs on my machine. I don't have to pay anything, and I would deploy to service bus. Well, I mean, you can mix and match. It's just JMS.
Just profiles too in Spring.
Yeah. So if I go here to service bus, as you can see, we've got now queues and topics in service bus. It's JMS stuff. Here I go to test queue. And my test queue at the moment should be empty. We've got this nice new thing. Also, you don't have this usually. We've got an explorer, so to have a look at what's inside the queue. So at the moment, we've got no message active. We've got dead-lettered messages because I did some tests before, but we've got no message at the moment. If I want to have a look, it's going to tell me there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing, no message available. And I've deployed. Let me just go to production again. Oh, sorry. I'm going to type a message. Oh, sorry. I need to. Do I need to learn? No, it's already working. Okay, I'm going to test a message. I don't know. Hello, Josh.
Hello.
Hey, I'm going to send the message. Oh,
that's the local one.
And that's a local one. Bad me. So the local, it proves that I don't cheat. That's the local one. So the local one I didn't deploy locally, so it doesn't work. The global one, well, I just said Josh, publish the message. Didn't fail. And if I go here to my test queue, if I do pick again, it says successfully picked. I've got a message here.
Yeah.
Have a look at the message, and the message is, it's Josh.
Hello, Josh.
So this is already in service bus.
Right.
And of course, I can read it if I want to. I'm in production. Yes, I can read the message, and then the message will disappear. If I pick it again, now there's no message anymore. And I forgot. You can have a look at the logs, of course.
Of course.
I quitted the logs, and you see them in the logs. You should see my messages arriving and disappearing in the logs.
That is so cool.
Ooh, so
we just started. We haven't even talked about the rest of the Spring Cloud, the Spring for Microsoft Azure integrations. We haven't looked at any of that other stuff, right? We've just looked at two tiny little. Look at that. There's our message.
Messages. Yeah, it's so easy. In my IDE, I just need to click. But I'm sad because we only have 2 minutes left.
Right. So can you show that slide showing all the stuff in Microsoft Azure, all the different services?
Yes, if I find my slide again, because I closed PowerPoint.
This is what's so interesting, is that we've used Azure Spring Cloud. It's very, very, very powerful. It gives you centralized configuration. It gives you a service registry. It gives you easy deployment of applications. But then you get Microsoft Azure, this huge, wonderful, rich platform, and so you can talk to all these different infrastructure pieces.
Oh, you've got Cosmos DB. You've got Cosmos DB if you want to scale. You've got Redis Cache. You've got lots of things. Oh, and if you want R2DBC, we have, of course, our database is Azure SQL Server, which is the old SQL Server also that we were using like 20 years ago. Now it's called Azure SQL Server. It supports R2DBC. So if you want to do reactive programming on Azure Spring Cloud using your book, well, you can do it here with Azure SQL Server. Well, same as PostgreSQL and MySQL, of course.
All this. So this is just an amazing experience. The Microsoft teams works very closely with the Spring teams, and they have for years now to make sure that these all work very, very idiomatically. Common, in the common way that people expect them to work. The result is rich.
Yes, we have very frequent meeting with both our teams.
Yeah.
And we've got a lot of work together. We've got also very exciting stuff with Azure Functions, with Spring Cloud Function. We've got lots of things, and that's a very exciting moment for us.
You did a demo on doing Azure Functions with Spring Cloud Function and Growl, right?
Yes. So officially it works with Azure Functions. So I mean, with normal Java, but I've got a demo with Growl VM, and it works. Of course, it's beginning of it, but it's already working on Azure Functions, which is awesome.
So where do people go next?
So, well, if you want to get started with Azure Spring Cloud, we've got lots of quick start guides. We've got a workshop. Well, I did 2 workshops, so you can go to see my workshops. They are very good, of course. We've got documentation, and we've got, I would say, we've got Microsoft Docs and Microsoft Learns, which are great platforms if you want to have a ton of information on Azure Spring Cloud. And of course, if you want more, you can also contact us on Twitter and have a chat with us on the Slack channel in the next minutes, because that's the end of the demo.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Julien.
Thanks a lot. Thank you, Josh. Another successful presentation. Thank you.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much, Josh and Julian. That was fantastic. I'm very impressed. Normally, Josh would still be presenting for at least another hour or two, but thanks to you, Julian, for reining him in. Because as my boss has told us, we got to keep the trains running on time. Now that doesn't mean that you can't keep talking to Josh and Julian. Click on join the discussion. Head on over to the Zoom Q&A link, and we can continue having this conversation. So this isn't the end of it. All right, and we'll take a quick break, and we will come back with Michael Villager from our friends at Dynatrace. So stretch your legs, get something to drink, get a snack, and we'll be back in a few short minutes.